All right, let's jump right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're digging into an absolutely incredible, true to life story about a hidden discovery. And trust me, it goes way beyond what you might expect. We're going to break down the events of a story called The Treasure of Living Memories. It's this fascinating look into a secret found quite literally right under someone's feet. It perfectly captures the difference between what we think is valuable and what actually holds the most worth. So get comfortable because this is going to be a really great journey. Picture this, because our story starts with a very familiar scene. We've got a 13-year-old boy named Jake living in a quiet, typical neighborhood in America. Summer vacation had just kicked off. And, like so many 13-year-olds, staring down months of completely unstructured free time, Jake was already bored out of his mind. There was absolutely nothing out of the ordinary happening. Just a typical, slow summer day hanging around an old family house. But that ordinary, everyday boredom, that's exactly what sets the stage for everything that follows. Section 1. A boring summer changed. An everyday chore. So one afternoon, Jake gets tasked with cleaning the basement of this old family house. Now, it's the kind of chore no kid wants to do, right? But things shifted really quickly. He's sweeping up, kind of just going through the motions, and he moves this dusty old rug out of the way. And when he does, he notices something strange. Something that definitely didn't belong. Hidden right there under the rug, perfectly embedded into the floorboards, was a small metal handle. I mean, just imagine that for a second. You've lived in this house, walked over this exact spot countless times, and suddenly, boom, there's a handle, leading to somewhere completely unknown. Section 2. Into the dark unknown. Investigating the mystery. Let's move to and see how this builds step by step. Step 1. Jake reaches down and pulls that handle. With a massive, heavy creak, a hidden wooden door slowly opens up right out of the floor. You know his heart is absolutely racing at this point. Step 2. He looks down and sees this narrow staircase plunging straight down into total darkness. Honestly, it's the ultimate childhood adventure. Step 3. He grabs a flashlight and starts carefully walking downstairs. And as he goes deeper, the air around him begins to feel noticeably, chillingly cold. The suspense here is just off the charts. He has absolutely no idea where these stairs lead or what's been hiding under his family's home all these years. When Jake finally reaches the bottom of those stairs, his flashlight sweeps across the pitch black, and it reveals this tiny, hidden room. It's filled with old, forgotten furniture and stacked with dusty books. But the most important item down there, the thing that instantly grabbed Jake's attention, was sitting right smack in the center. A locked wooden box. It's like everything else in that room was just set dressing for this one mysterious locked container. Section 3. The locked wooden box. A mysterious container. Sitting right next to that box was a small, handwritten note. And it read, "For the one brave enough to find this place." Wow. This is such a fascinating detail, because it tells us, and it tells Jake, that this wasn't an accident. This room wasn't just some forgotten junk storage. It was deliberately hidden, and it was meant to be found by someone specific, someone curious enough to move that rug and brave enough to walk down into the dark. It was literally a test. You can really feel the tension building here. Jake's hands physically shook as he went to open the box. He's just a 13-year-old kid, standing all alone in a hidden, freezing room under his house, about to uncover a secret that someone went to incredible lengths to conceal. The anticipation right in this moment is at its absolute peak. Now, if you're a kid who just uncovered a hidden room and a locked box, your mind immediately goes to pirate treasure, right? You're thinking gold, stacks of money, jewels, the whole shebang, something of immense financial value. But when Jake finally popped that box open, there was no gold, no traditional treasure whatsoever. It was just old photos, some faded letters, and an old video recorder. For a split second, it might have actually felt like a bit of a letdown. That is, until he decided to see what was actually on that video recorder. Section 4. The Grandfather's Message. A Voice from the Past. Totally curious about this old device, Jake turns the video recorder on. The screen flickers to life, and a face suddenly appears. The man on the screen smiles and says, "Hey, if you're watching this, you found my secret room." The face staring back at him on that screen, it belonged to Jake's grandfather. Jake just froze. And it's a completely understandable reaction, right? His grandfather had passed away years ago. Seeing him alive, moving, speaking directly to whoever managed to find this room, It was an unbelievable shock. It was literally a voice from the past, echoing in a room that had been perfectly sealed away from time itself. The recording continued, and his grandfather started to explain exactly why he did all this. He said, "I built this place to leave something important behind. Not money, but memories." And man, this brilliantly illustrates the true purpose of the secret room. The grandfather knew that financial wealth, that comes and goes. But the history, the essence of who a family really is, that's what gets lost to time if someone doesn't take the care to preserve it. As Jake started digging further into the box, he realized what he was actually holding. It was packed with family stories that had never even been written down. It held old videos of childhood moments that Jake had never seen before, and it held heartfelt messages specifically recorded for future generations. His grandfather had essentially built this beautiful, personal time capsule of love and history. That hidden room was absolutely packed with generational wealth, just not the financial kind. Jake ended up spending hours down in that freezing basement, just watching tape after tape. He laughed out loud at the old, funny stories. He definitely shed some tears seeing relatives who were no longer around. And for the very first time in his life, he felt like his grandfather was right there sitting in the room with him. The physical isolation of that tiny, quiet room actually created this deeply intimate connection across time. The grandfather's gift wasn't just a box of objects. It was a profound experience. Section 5. The Greatest Treasure. A Changed Family. Later that night, Jake finally closed up the secret door, turned off the flashlight, and went upstairs to tell his parents absolutely everything he had found. His mom listened to the whole story, just smiling through her tears. She looked at Jake and said, "Your grandfather always said the greatest treasure isn't what you keep, it's what you leave behind." And really, this is the absolutely crucial point of this whole story. His grandfather didn't just talk about this philosophy, he lived it, and he proved it by creating that secret room. Jake never ever forgot what he found beneath the floorboards of his house. And this brings us right to the core lesson of our explainer today. Sometimes the greatest treasures out there aren't hidden in gold at all. They're hidden in memories. The physical stuff, the old furniture, the dusty rug, even the locked box itself, they were all just vessels. They were meant to protect the things that actually matter in the long run. The stories, the human connections, the laughter. Because at the end of the day, that is what truly lasts. Well, that brings us to the end of our explainer for today. But before we go, I want to leave you with a thought directly inspired by Jake's unbelievable discovery. What kind of treasure are you leaving behind for the ones who follow you? Are you spending your life building a box of gold? Or are you building a room full of memories, stories, and love? It's definitely something for all of us to think about. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this story stays with you just as long as it stayed with Jake.